So welcome to MTG Anonymous, where I forget to name my decks. Oh, so this one's Forge Storm, Ascension. So yep, that's how we're starting this deck. So I made two shorts for this a little while ago. I'm actually just testing the deck one more time. So you may not see this. If you do, I really just didn't feel like editing, so it is what it is. This doesn't work. This would work if I had blue in my hand, but since it doesn't have blue, I have to mulligan. Okay, so now this has enough. It gives me encroaching. I can play it on 4, so Kaido. Emergency powers will go on the bottom, actually, because I can draw the card with Kaido. So, yep, this is a little rough just looking at it. Wizard class gives me the first play. Um, So, but really, right? Like now, I can play Encroaching Dragon Storm on turn 4. Dang, I really have to do it now. So, yep, Magda. It kind of gave me no choice, right? I have to get as many. Um, I'm actually fine with that. So first we'll attack. Yep. Next, now we'll play you. In turn. So next turn we can grab the Encroaching Dragon Storm, which would then give us 6, or well, really 4 mana. 6 with the World Tree. And then we can just play Kaido and start drawing. Magda back up in my hand. So, because they're going to probably kill her. Yep. That doesn't surprise me at all. So, Mountain. I'll actually do Kaido this turn and draw a card. Yes. Autopay. So this deck is really redundant, as you can see. So next turn, the smart play would be Magda, of course, Wandering Emperor, because of course. Uh, um, Atashi's actually really good, so we'll play it. Play the World Tree, make it so you can't attack. Which really, right, now that that's, it can't use the -2. You gotta be kidding me. Like, that's annoying, but, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, so you can make another one of those. Hmm. Incorrect play. Okay, so planes, and we can Dragon Storm and Magda. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter which color I grab. I'll just grab the 2 swamps. Play the Magda. So now that we've done that, can't block until my next turn. Yep. Do you have more removal? If you do, cool. If you don't, cool. I'm gonna get my stuff back. We just gotta get a dragon to enter now, which isn't hard. It really stinks though that like they remove the first Magda like that and then at sushi. So yeah. Next turn I will -2 the Kaido. Seriously? Okay, well that I'm fine with actually. Can they remove it for 1? Seriously. They played nothing but like removal this entire game so far. So island, draw 2. Gravewaker. Hmm. Which I I have even more removal. I feel it. Yep. That's annoying. That's really annoying. There's nothing I can do about it at the moment, but that's really annoying. So now you attack me for 4. Yep, cool. Got it. Understand. Let's do the Ominous Traveler. So when this or another dies, create a token. Yep. Play you again. Return you. Play you again. When this enters, draw a card, then discard a card. When a spirit's, but nope. Boom. Play you. Play Champion of the Perished, which returns that. Gives me another zombie. Come on, dude. Which is fine. You don't have -6, so I don't really care. If those swing, I will block. Yep, you're gonna give it probably indestructible, because of course you did. Yep. I'm fine with that because it gives me the 2/2s. Am I brave? Yes. Let's go. I can do Binding of the Old Gods and kill it. Or I can do Patient. I'll do Patient Rebuilding. I think I can stall for long enough to get away with it. So, Gordrak. You have another removal spell? Like, this is getting super annoying, if I'm being completely honest. Yep, too early for that. No attacks. Nothing died. Yep. You've got to be kidding me. They've played nothing but removal this entire time. Like, that's really old. Like, cool, removal. I'll probably make a deck like it, so. Like, I'm just complaining to complain at the moment. Yep, indestructible. I'll just block there. Like, I don't even know what to do, technically. So, I can play Binding of the Old Gods, which kills Gideon. I can play Realmbreaker, which will then get me another land, which it didn't. Play the land. No attacks. It's like their deck is getting old, if I'm being completely honest, because another removal spell. In the trenches. I don't. Yeah, it's a 9, 12. I have to block. If I don't get emergency powers, I just lose. So, which even if I get emergency powers at this point, I probably still lose. Yep. So yeah, I lose. So boom, Realmbreaker, which grabs me a land. Encroaching Dragonstorm, which grabs me 2 lands. And Magda, which gets removed next turn. Yeah. Super annoying, but I'm going to build that deck now, so there's that too. So as you can tell, like this deck doesn't do good against a lot of removal, and it's really ridiculous. So I'm gonna just scoop, but you see how the deck is kind of supposed to be played. Now, granted, if your opponent doesn't have 97 pieces of removal, then this deck actually goes good. But so today we're gonna actually let's just go over the deck. So let's pull it up. So as you saw, I named it, and the name went away. Hmm, cool. So this deck is called. Well, hold on. I lost the name of the deck because it's not there anymore. Obviously, you see that there's a lot of Magdas in this deck, but so this deck is called Horde Storm Ascension. It's really a 5-color treasure value deck. The one game that I play in the beginning doesn't really show the deck very well, but um, yeah, I'm just gonna add one gameplay to every video. There are a lot of cards, so let's get into it. We're gonna really just go full greed with this deck. It's 5-colored treasures fueled with Dragon Storm, so meaning I'm gonna play a whole bunch of dragons, which is fueled by Magda, Brazen Outlaw, Magda, the Horde Master, and also Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. This deck can ramp fast with treasures if we get our stuff to stay on the battlefield, and World Tree helps fix us after we've gotten 6 lands. Then we flood the board with powerful dragons, planeswalkers, and even just continue resetting with emergency power. The deck highlights Magda, Blade Wing, Niv Mizzet, Goldspan Dragon. Like, those are our good pieces. Zatora and Gravewaker are also honorable mentions. Emergency powers combos with Smothering Tithe, which most people know that, but it's, again, something we got to go over. Realmbreaker lets us grab lands from our opponent's graveyard, so that helps us mana fix. And then Wizard Class, Binding of the Old God, and Kaido just keep allowing us to draw, so we're able to get into our treasures. So first, before we get further in, what 5-color commander combo would you like to see be built around Realmbreaker? Let me know. Uh, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification for more off beta brews that sometimes bring the heat. So let's talk about it. We went over the overview. We're going to read the cards. Then we're going to talk about the core engine, supporting cast, strength and weakness, and then the outro. First off, we have Wizard class for 1 blue. You have no maximum hand size. We can level it up for 2 and a blue. When this class becomes level 2, draw 2 cards, and then for 2 and a blue again, we can level it up to level 3. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This is really good for this deck because we can swing out with our dragons. Magda, Brazen Outlaw for 1 and a red. She is one of our main cards. She's a 2/1 Dwarf Berserker. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. Doesn't really matter. But when a dwarf becomes tapped, create 5 treasure tokens. Sacrifice 5 treasure tokens. Search your library for an artifact or dragon card. Then put that card into the battlefield. So again, we're going to be using this ability to grab any of these. Or once most of these are out, we'll grab Realmbreaker in. Really just so we can make it so that we can play as many dragons as possible. And then the other Magda, Magda the Horde Master for 1 and a red. She's a 2/2 Dwarf Berserker. Whenever you commit a crime, which is targeting anything our opponents control, we create a tapped treasure token. This ability only triggers once each turn. So basically, we can use Realmbreaker to commit a crime against our opponent, and then that makes us a treasure. So now, sacrifice 3 treasures, create a 4/4 red scorpion dragon creature token with flying and haste, activate only as a sorcery. So again, use those treasures. If we don't have this Magda out, we can use them to make a whole bunch of 4/4 dragons and swing at our opponent. Path to the World Tree for 1 and a green. When this enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it onto put it into your hand, then shuffle. And then for 2 Wooburg, which is white, blue, black, red, green, sacrifice this enchantment. You gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. Target opponent loses 2 life. This enchantment draws 2 damage. Excuse me. This enchantment deals 2 damage to up to 1 target creature. You create a 2/2 green bear creature token. So really, this is just to grab um, swamps because we need 3 swamps for this card, and that's the only time where it becomes relevant, other than like Gravewaker, because we can't search these 2 cards up. We would need we can get these out of our library. So reset with emergency powers and then activate Magda. Next is Ominous Traveler. This is really just in here to keep making cards. So for 2, when this enters the battlefield, draft a card for Ominous Traveler's Spellbook. That card perpetually gains mana of any type, can be spent to cast a spell, and when you cast a spell, return a creature named Ominous Traveler you control to its owner's hand. So basically, we want to just keep casting Ominous Traveler over and over and over and over again. Get those creatures into the graveyard, and then combo with Gravewaker to pull them back out. And then if we pull them out with Gravewaker, because that's not casting, that doesn't cause this the second trigger to trigger. Gadrek, the Crown Scourge for 2 and a red. It's a 5/4 legendary dragon with flying. Can't attack unless you have 4 or more artifacts. Don't worry. And other than the other game, we almost always have a whole bunch of treasures. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure for each non-token creature that died this turn. We don't have ways to kill them specifically, other than like Nikki B. So if they swing and we block, or excuse me, if we swing and they block and their stuff dies or our stuff dies, we make tokens. Then we use Magda to grab stuff out. Zorn for 2 and a red. It's a 3/2. If you would create 1 or more treasure tokens, instead create those tokens plus an additional treasure token. So now Magda, when we swing with her, she will cause us to make 1. If we have both Magdas out, she will cause us to make 4. If we use Realmbreaker with the other Magda out, we get another 2. So every turn we could possibly make 6, which means we grab a treasure. Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree for 3. We're just using the top ability because there are no Praetors in this deck. So for 2 and tap, target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from their graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. It gains if this land would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Smothering Tide for 3 and a white. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If they don't, you create a treasure token. Again, as I said before, we're going to use this in conjunction with Emergency Powers and Nicobolus to make the treasures so we can spin with Magda. Atushi, the Blazing Sky for 2 red. It's a 4/4 Dragon Spirit with flying and trample. When it dies, choose 1. Either exile the top 2 cards of your library until end of turn. You can play those, or create 3 treasure tokens. So with Sorn, that would make 4 treasure tokens. Then we need 1 more to spin with Magda. If Atushi dies, we can always grab it back with our lands because we will have a lot of them. Grab them back with the Gravewaker. So yeah, we just keep doing that over and over again. Encroaching Dragonstorm. This is one of the mainstays in the deck for 3 and a green. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. And then whenever a dragon enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So why is that important? It doesn't say non-token, so we can use this Magda's 3 treasures to drop a Scorpion Dragon. Now this comes back to our hand. We play it again. We grab 2 basic lands. Kato, Dancing Shadow for 2, a blue and a black. Whenever 1 or more creatures deal damage to a player, or combat damage, you may return 1 of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you may activate loyalty abilities of Kaito twice this turn rather than only once. We would only use this ability with Magda because it doesn't make sense to do it with any of the other ones. So we're going to use the +1 or the +0. The -2 can be good, but it's less than likely we'll use it. +1, up to 1 target creature can't attack or block until your next turn. Or the 0, draw a card. The -2 is create a 2/2 colorless drone artifact token with Death Touch. And when this token leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2. Binding the Old Gods, this is both removal and ramp technically. So first, For 2 black green, it's a saga. Sagas say add a lore counter after you draw. So first, destroy target non-land permanent that opponent controls. Second, search your library for a forest card, put onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And third, creatures gain Death Touch. So this is really in here to grab the triomes. All of the triomes have forest in their name, so we can fix basically whatever land color we need. We also have both Stomping Ground and Commercial District, so we can grab these as well. This gives us mana fixing, but again, since I'm a free-to-play player, I only have one of each of these, so that's why we only have the ones. Really, ultimately, I should add the green-black land here too, just so we can guarantee Nicobolus, but let's continue. Patient rebuilding for 3 blue blue. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent mills 3 cards. Then you draw a card for each land put into their graveyard this way. So first off, this combos with Realmbreaker, because patient rebuilding, we want them to mill cards. We want them to mill lands, and then use Realmbreaker's ability to put those lands on the battlefield. We also want to draw a lot of cards, because wizard class, we can put +1/+1 counters on stuff for drawing. So yeah, this just goes in a quick circle. Goldspan Dragon for 3 red red. It's a 4/4 dragon with flying and haste. When this creature attacks or becomes the target of a spell, create a treasure token. And then treasures you control have sacrificed this artifact. Add 2 mana of any color. So once this comes out and we have stuff in our hand, it makes more sense to use its ability rather than Magda's, because this would be 10 mana. While, we're wasting with this one. Goldspan's really good for pretty much everything, especially once we have the Smothering Tide and Emergency Powers combo going. Then we can just pretty much play everything in our hand if Goldspan's out. Nicobolus Dragon God for 1 black, 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 red. It comes in with 4 loyalty. It has loyalty abilities of all other planeswalkers on the battlefield, meaning we can use Kaido's ability. But +1, you draw a card. Each opponent exiles a card from their hand or a permanent they control. -3, destroy target creature or planeswalker. And then -8, each opponent who doesn't control a legendary creature or planeswalker loses the game. We get real close to using this when we do get Nicobolus out, but sometimes Nicobolus just decides he don't want to come. For 4 black black, we get a 5/5 Gravewalker Bird Spirit. This is really technically an enchantment in this deck, because I only want it for the ability. So for 5 black black, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Which, honestly, is kind of a non-bo with emergency powers, since it puts stuff back into the deck, but whatever. Niv Mizzet Visionary for 4 blue red. It's a 5/5 dragon wizard with flying. You have no maximum hand size. Whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards. That is the combo piece to Niv Mizzet Paron. So for blue, 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 red, 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 you get a 5/5 dragon wizard that can't be countered. It has flying, and whenever you draw a card, Niv Mizzet deals 1 damage to any target. Whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, you draw a card. We, of course, have just the emergency powers in this deck, so we use that to draw an extra card. So really, we draw 8 instead of 7. Zatora, the Incinerator for 3 black, red, green. We get a 6/6 Demon Dragon with flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, it deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. So how does that work? We sacrifice something, preferably something small, or like Gadrick. Then that causes us to make the 3. If Goldspan Dragon's out, now we have the mana to use Gravewaker, so we pull that back in. And we just keep doing that over and over again until our opponent dies, basically. Or until we can swarm the board. Emergency powers, 5 white, blue. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into the library, then draws 7 cards. Exile emergency powers, and then it has an addendum. If you cast this during your main phase, which we almost always will, you may put a permanent card with mana value 7 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. We would throw Nicobolus is really what we want, but we would throw any of our permanents on there, honestly, other than Blade Wing, because we only want that for recursion for Greywalker. Or nope, Greywalkers only for this is only for dragons. So never mind. Three black, black, red, red. Bladewing the Risen is a 4/4 zombie dragon. When it enters, you may return target dragon permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then for black, red, dragon creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So this is our finisher. We use this ability, or have it out, make the tokens with Magda the Horde Master, and then give everything +1/+1 and kill our opponent. And then lastly, we got some lands. We only have one plains because there's just the Smothering Tithe. We have a couple of blue spells, so we have islands, we have swamps, we have mountains. Again, Binding of the Old Gods does not say non-permanent, or excuse me, not basic forest card. So we can grab any of these, not world tree, unfortunately. Any of these we grab, and then we get to play them. So we've talked about these cards. Let's talk about the core engine. So as we said before, Magda and treasures. So Magda makes her own treasures. Zatora makes treasures for her. Goldspan makes treasures for her. And then if Zorn's out, we get an additional treasure every time we make treasures. Emergency powers and Smothering Tides as a combo. We draw 7, they draw 7, and then we get to make 7 treasure tokens. Realmbreaker helps us fix our mana just because we get to grab lands from our opponent's graveyard. And then we've got some good dragons in this deck. The supporting cast, of course, is Path to the World Tree, which, as we said, helps us grab whatever color we need. Binding the Old Gods also does that as well. And then Kaido helps us draw cards. Nicobolus helps us draw cards. Patient Rebuilding helps us draw cards. Wizard class helps us draw cards. So these 4 cards, obviously, like there's more than 4 because 3, 6, 8, 9 cards, 10 cards dedicated to draw make it mean we almost always get to that point. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, the value is off the charts here. We can win on one well-timed emergency powers, and every card feels like it does what it's supposed to in this deck. Weaknesses, it can be kind of clunky if you don't have red and Magda or blue with the wizard class in the early game, then you're probably not going to win. And then you also need time to stabilize. So like the other deck where it was removal and aggro, like we couldn't handle that. So this deck does it all, and it really says, I'll take one of everything that you have, please. If you like big plays, weird combos, and watch your opponent panic as dragons come from nowhere, you're probably going to love Horde Storm Ascension. Drop a like if you enjoyed the brew, sub for more wild builds, and let me know in the comments, what dragon would you add to this deck? Or what combo would you add to this deck other than just dragons? So if you did, again, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you. Peace.